All right, so here's pre-calc 30, 8.1, number 12. So determine the value of x in each case. Sometimes it's this value here. Sometimes it's this base. I guess those two. So A, what you want to remember is that each log statement can also be written as a exponential. So we take the base to the power of 3 equals this value. So 6 to the power of 3 equals x. So that's 6 times 6 times 6. What's 36 times 6? 216. So x equals 216. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, B. Let's take a look at B. I'll do it over here. So B. So this is x to the power of 1/2 equals 9. Or square root of something, because that's what 1/2 as an exponent means, equals 9. So right away you should be able to tell what x is. However, if you're still unaware and you want to know how can I mathematically solve for x all by itself, do the opposite operation of square rooting, which is squaring. Both sides, you get x, because these cancel out, equals 81. Okay? So the square root of 81 is 9. Okay? So the log of 9 base 81 is 1/2, because 81 to the power of 1/2 equals 9. All right, C. 1/4 is the base to the power of -3 equals x. So what we're going to do is we're going to, there's two things here. So we have a fraction to the power of a negative exponent. Remember that negative exponent, if you apply that negative exponent, I guess the negative's up here, to the fraction, if you apply that negative, you can flip the fraction and then it becomes positive. So watch this. 1/4 to the power of -3 is actually equal to 4/1 to the positive 3, which is just 4 cubed. So that's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Or 16 times 16, what does that give you?
That's 4 cubed.
Oh, sorry, did I say it right at 4 times?
Yeah.
So 16 times 4 is 64 cubed. Yeah, 64. 64. So C is 64. Okay, D. Let's get to D then. So x to the 4/3, right? X to the power of 4/3 equals 16. So x to the 4/3 equals 16. This fraction is the same as writing this. Cubed root, because this number is the index of the root. Cube root of x to the 4th equals 16. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll cube it to get rid of the cube root. Shh. Quiet, please. If you don't need to hear this one, that's fine. Just please whisper so others can hear. This is now x to the 4th equals 16 cubed. So you can evaluate this if you want on your calculator, or you can say I need to get x by itself. So getting rid of this to the power of 4 is taking the 4th root. So that gets rid of that, and I have to do the same thing to the other side. So the 4th root of 16 cubed, or 16 to the power of 3/4. So however way you want to do that on your calculator. 16 to the power of, use your brackets, 3 divided by 4 is 8. Another way to do that, if you did 16 cubed first, you could do, oh gosh. You could do 16 to the power of 3, and then you could do the 4th root of it, or to the power of 1/4. Some of you may have a math function. So I'm going to put 4, and then on my math function, do you see how that I can put an index into the root? So I'm going to type 4, and then I'm going to do this. So I'm telling the calculator to do the 4th root. And then of 4096. 4096. So that should also be 8. So however you do that on your calculator, the orders doesn't matter. So 8 should be your answer. Okay. Does that help everyone there? For number 12? 8.2 number 12, good? 8 point number, is that 8.1 number 12 or 2?
8.1.
Did I do that right? Okay, 8.1 number 12. Yep.
I just put into my calculator kind of 4 over 3 root 16, and then it gave me 8. I could do that.
Okay, if you, okay, you did the 4 over 3rd root like this. You did that? And then 4 over 3
No.
as an index for 16?
Yeah. I put the second thing into my calculator.
Yeah, you put this in your calculator?
Yeah.
Yep, that will get you 8 as well. Please make sure that you...
Do that on a test, will that?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I don't know. You're supposed to know what this denominator means and what this exponent means.
Yeah.
So really, we should do this in two operations. This technically, yeah, taking the 4th root of something will get you the same answer. So depends on the question, I guess. Yeah, but you have to know what these, the 4 and the 3 mean.
Yeah.
You have to know that. Yeah, so just be careful how much you just plug into your calculator to get an answer. But yeah, that works. That's fine.
Can I give an exponent of 3 over 4 for both sides? So that we can
Yes, it would be the same thing. Yeah, yeah. As long as you show your intermediate steps. Yep. Okay, 14A says evaluate this. So please just don't plug this into your calculator. You really shouldn't need this would be a no calculator question. You don't need a calculator for this one. So don't just type it in and just say, there's my answer, I'm done. Try to understand it. You don't need a calculator for this one. So what you do, order of operations, remember order of operations, bed mass, okay, bed mass. So do what's inside the brackets first. If there's 2 sets of brackets, work on the innermost bracket first and then start to work out, okay? So we'll always do brackets first. So I basically have one, this is the question, well inside I have this, the secondary, this is inside the brackets, but then I also have this inside the innermost bracket. So I'm going to work on this innermost bracket first. So log of 64 base 4, that is 4 to the power of what gives me 64? That is 3. So now I have log base 2 of log base 3 of 3. So now I focus on this inside bracket, and this is log of base 2. And what's the value of this? 3 to the power of what is 3? That is 1. And so I can now evaluate this. Log of 1 base 2. Well, 2 to the power of what gives me 1? That is 0. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. And so your answer is 0. So start on the innermost brackets and then work your way out as you solve. So this becomes a number, that's 3. Then this becomes a number, that's 1. And then this whole thing becomes a number, that's 0. Okay, any other questions from 8.1 that you have right now?
That was easy.